Okay, so this is just so you know how to rig the bike. These 3 lines are your controls. So your red one is your out haul, your blue one is your boom bang, and your green one is your Cunningham. So the green goes on the inside, the boom bang, the blue, goes in the middle, and the red goes on the outside. Then from there, when you feed them through, you put them through the blocks of the boat face, and then up through for the out haul, through up on the bottom section, and then through this block here, back through to this one, to the outside one here. There's 2 different blocks here. You wanted the out haul to be on this block and the boom bang to be on this block. Then it comes back out and then on the outside one again on this side. Then for your boom bang, you're gonna have this shackle. You screw it right in here, this part, and when it comes through, it should be not caught through each other. Like, it shouldn't look like this, where they're all tangled, right? So you want to make sure that they're like that. Now the Cunningham is really simple. You just put it through on the inside one. It goes into the eye little thing here on the right of the mast, so you can see. Goes through, goes around the mast. You put the block on the other end of it. Goes back around the mast, through the eye, and then through your cleat on the inside. So now that's it for your mast. Once you have your bottom section rigged up, you can lay it down and put the next section on. Okay, so this is your top section. You're going to rig up your halyard. It's got an extra little loop that we're going to use to make it a tighter raise in your set. You then connect your top section to your bottom section, and you want the eye to match up. If you look at the eye, you want it to match up with the neck. You can see right there, they line up, so that's good. Now you can raise it again. And put it through so that it's going in between the green lines so that you still have it on the outside of the mast. Okay, this halyard gets cleated into where the mast is. If I just turn it, you can see, it gets cleated in here. Okay, so rigging your boom, you want to make sure your hole for your gooseneck is right in. So your out haul goes through on the inside of the main block for your main sheet is. Okay, so your boom bang, which is this guy, which we're making sure is looking straight and good. So after it's straight, you just hook it into right here, and actually you want to do it in between the 2 red lines, which are your. Now for the main sheet, I already have knots at the end of my sheet. You want to have at least 1 8 knot at the end of your sheet so that it doesn't like go flying out when wind hits and your sail goes out. Take the other end and go backwards through. When you're pulling in your sheet, it should always go like this. So if you're going the backwards way, it should always not ratchet. So ratchet, no ratchet. It goes from here to the outside of this top one, down to the bottom one, and on the outside of the bottom one, so it's always going clockwise. If you're looking at it this way, I guess, on your way, I guess it's counterclockwise. And then go back through, so it's always making a loop through here, and we're going to tie a bowline at the other end. So to tie a bowline, you just make a loop. This line is on the other side of you. You go up through the loop, around the line at the back, and back down through the loop, and it makes kind of what looks like a little life jacket. So that's a non-slip knot that is very important in rigging. Then we're going to put the sail onto the boom. This is called the clue, and the clue has a clue tie down, which looks like this in our case. And it's Spectra because it's non-stretch, so when you're out there and it gets really windy, it's not going to stretch and leave like a big gap. So we're going to go around 3 times. The looser it is, the more power you put in your sail, and sometimes that can make it out of control, especially when you're a lighter sailor. So down, and we're going to use a reef knot, so like this, and then when it comes back, it should end up looking like that. Now this is the kind of release of your out haul. It has a bungee on one side and rope on the other. The rope part is the part that you tie down to the clue eye. So you do a bowline again, and you put it on the clue eye, and you put it back through to this cleat here on the boom. just give it a little tug so it's got a little bit of tension, so when you release your out haul, it pulls it back. Now here's the out haul. You take it back through, and there's also a block on the end of your clue. Just put it through here, bring it back through your block. Back through the little eye. I'm going to put it through this one here. So we're going to do a bowline at this end too. And you don't want it too loose or else it'll end up... We can unroll the sail and start to put up the sail. So we're going to raise the sail. So we're going to put it through the top piece, up, and we're going to do the bowline on the halyard. And it'll look like a little life jacket, right? Okay, so we got the zipper going. And then you just raise it through here and through the cleat. And as you raise it, you do the zipper. So once your sail is here, you can come in this way. Now this is just to make sure you have like a really raised halyard that's not going to fall down in heavier wind. You go back in through, and then you take this end, and right here, you put it through again. So while you're holding it, you can just shove this end through. Sometimes it's harder than others. And then this ends up being like a block right there. It just gives you a little bit more control. You tie it around here. A little coil for when it goes into the sail. You can see you just put it into the pocket.
Watch out.
You close it up, zip, and buckle. Now for the Cunningham, now that your sail's up, you can do that. And it goes under, in between the out haul and the boom, and then it goes up to this side, and there's a block on this side, which you go down through. So you just put it down through, and then it goes through this block. And you just do an 8 knot at this end. And there's your control. So if you watch, as you tighten the boom bang, the boom actually pulls down, right? You can see it pull down. And that tightens the outside of the sail. So it gives the leech, the outside of the sail, tension. So in heavier wind, you want to like tighten up your sail so it has less power, because if you can't keep your boat flat, you're going to want the least amount of power in your sail. Whereas in lighter wind, you're going to want the most amount of power in your sail so that you can go faster. It's just more fun. That's the same with the out haul. The out haul, as you pull in, the sail goes closer to the outside of the boom. And as you let it off, sometimes you have to kind of go like this. And it pulls out and it just comes to the, it just loosens. And it gives you this bag on the inside of your sail. The Cunningham, it gets rid of the wrinkles in the luff. So as you get into heavier wind, you'll end up seeing wrinkles in the sail, and you just pull those out by pulling down on the sail. And you can do that on either side, so no matter which tack you're on, you can always be adjusting your sail controls. Now, your main sheet obviously controls your mainsail, and there are cleats for your main sheet here. Okay, so for your rudder, so like this is how it's going to be when you're sailing, but you're going to turn it up like this for when you're not in the water, otherwise it'll be dragging along the ground. So we'll slip it into the gudgeons, these are pintles, and then this little piece locks it in place so it won't like come up while you're sailing. If you capsize or something, it won't fall off. Just in case that doesn't work though, we have this black rope, and it goes through this little place right here, and we just tie a nice little bowl. This tiller extension just places right in here. When you put it in the water, you'll end up cleaning it off on here, but that's after you pull this down. And you just place it right in here in the carpet, but don't push it down. You just leave it in there so that it's not going to stop you from getting your boat off your dolly, because if you do, the little strap here will get caught on your dagger board. Okay, so that's about it for rigging. We're going to push the boat out, put the rudder down, jump in, you push this down right away.